I might give you the word guitar, and you might say, why'd you give me that word? And I might say, I want you to give me an example of a guitar, and you might say, electric guitar. And I might say, can you give me an example of an electric guitar? And you might say, sure, a red electric guitar. Okay? And I might say, can you give me another example of a guitar? And you might say, acoustic guitar. And I might say, what's a guitar an example of? And you might say, it's an example of an instrument. And I might say, what's an instrument an example of? And you might say, it's a tool. And I might say, what's an example of a tool? And you might think of someone you know, but that wouldn't be right. The right thing might be something like a wrench or spanner in this case. And I might say, what's an example of an instrument? And you might say, piano. Okay, so we've got a number of different words here, and you're wondering, what's this all about? We're not really interested in the words. We're interested in the sort of the rule set, if you like, for getting to these words. It's the structure, and all of this really is just an exercise in lateral thinking. So if I have a hole in the roof, it's leaking water. There's water getting in. I say I want a bucket. And I don't have a bucket. And I say a bucket is an example of something that holds water. And then I say, what else do I know that holds water? If that's the solution that I'm going to apply to place something that holds water under it, then I might not have much in the house for some reason. I don't have any pots, whatever, I don't have anything. Maybe I've got some cups, but they're just not big enough. And for some reason, I realize I have gumboots, which normally go on feet and are used to keep water out, but they also can hold water in. Okay, so there's an example of applying some very basic thinking using this. This is really just the tip of the spear, if you like. There is so much more to this than that, and I'm actually going to demonstrate that soon. I'm just going to now show you the sort of a guideline for making sure that if you practice this kind of thinking, that you're doing it in a correct way. So, for example, if I said car, and you went down, and I said go down from there, and you said wheel is a part of a car, so no, that doesn't work. But if you said red car, well, a red car is an example of a car, and that can work. So if you want to go up, the question you could ask is, what's this an example of? A question you could ask if you want to go down is, what's an example of this? And if you want to go sideways, as they call it, sideways chunking, you first go up and then you go down. That's all that is. You go down to somewhere different. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you to chunk up, and what I mean by that is I'm going to provide you with 3 metaphors, and my challenge to you is to come up with an abstract concept, as in an abstract description for what all 3 metaphors are. What are all these 3 metaphors examples of? And to begin with, we begin with Thomas Cole's Epic Course of Empire, a 5-part series of paintings, and considered to be one of the greatest pieces of art in American history. So here we go. Okay, so in the first panel we see a hunter and gatherer state, a savage state. This is the first state of the empire. And in the next panel we see a pastoral state. The empire has now progressed to farming the land. In the third panel we see the empire at the height of its power, And in the next panel, the fourth panel, we see the empire destructing, and in the final panel, the empire has been gone for some time now. There's vegetation growing over the ruins. It's gone, and it would have been for quite some time. In the first panel, it's perhaps 5:30 a.m. It's dawn, and in the next panel, it's perhaps 9 a.m., so maybe mid-morning. In the third panel, it's perhaps midday, and in the next panel, the fourth panel, it's perhaps 12:30, so not that much time has necessarily passed. That's my interpretation anyway. And in the final panel, it looks like the moon's rising, so it's perhaps 8:30 p.m. or something like that. So all the way from dawn through to night, we've seen the course of an empire. And my question for you is, what do you think would happen next? In this case, I'll give you a hint, the sun's going to come back up, so what happens then? Well, an empire rises, but it's also going to go back down again, so what happens then? The empire falls. And so the idea here, I think, is that Cole is suggesting that, certainly that metaphor seems to be suggesting that empires are cyclical, that it goes round. The same empire is not necessarily going to rise, but empires themselves will come and then they will fall, just like the sun rises and then it sets. Okay, so that was the first metaphor, and I want you to tell me, I'm going to show you two more metaphors in the next video, one from the Eagles Hotel, California, and one from the Course of Empire, and I want you to tell me what they all have in common. I'll see you in the next video.